With a new year for WWE, what can we expect? Let's talk about some predictions for 2024 in today's Wrestling Ramble. Kicking things off with predictions for 2024 in WWE, we have to go an obvious route here. We just, not too long ago, saw the return of CM Punk at Survivor Series. After a brief stint with AEW, more than a decade away from WWE, he's finally back in the company, and he's a huge star, selling a ton of merchandise. He's already got beef with the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. He is signed to Raw, that's where they both are on the Red brand. CM Punk is arguably the biggest babyface in the company, maybe even the biggest star overall in WWE today. And he has also declared that he will be a participant in the Men's Royal Rumble match later this month. If there's one thing that you can bet on safely when it comes to the Royal Rumble, it is CM Punk winning the dang thing. There's some other stars that you could potentially throw in there. Another close favorite, maybe a slight underdog, would be someone like Cody Rhodes. But I think it makes the most sense to have CM Punk win the entire match. It doesn't necessarily matter where he ends up in the match. I doubt they will start him early for the Rumble. They'll probably have him come out at least after the midway point, probably after 15, maybe even into the 20s. I don't see him coming out at 1 or 2 or too early on. Who knows how that match is going to turn out, who will be the final 4, final 3, final 2, and so on. But one thing we can be certain of is CM Punk will be the last man standing. He's going to point at that WrestleMania sign, and he's going to head to one of the main events of WrestleMania. That's right, as you probably know, we have two main events these days for WrestleMania, night 1 and night 2. I think he will be the main event, probably of night 1. We'll get into night 2 in a second. He will main event night 1 of WrestleMania. It will be CM Punk versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. And for another prediction in 2024, not only will CM Punk be the Men's Royal Rumble winner, he will use that, get to the main event of WrestleMania, and he will defeat Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title, becoming a champion once again in WWE. When it comes to another prediction, this one was more obvious before CM Punk came back. It's jumbled plans just a little bit, or at least hinted at such, throwing a monkey wrench into what we had going in WWE, because if you'll remember, Cody Rhodes was the big babyface star. We've had others pop up like LA Knight and so on, but CM Punk coming back, and they had the confrontation, Punk and Rhodes backstage, where Cody Rhodes, if you'll remember, said, "It looks like to finish your story, you're going to have to win the Royal Rumble." Punk goes, "Yeah." Rhodes goes, "Well, best of luck. Happy to have you back." Something like that. And it was a great moment to show that they're still friendly, cordial with one another, but there's competitive tension. And you gotta love that with two baby faces, especially those that are on the top like Cody Rhodes and CM Punk. They are at the height of this industry in WWE right now. They are hot as can be. Cody Rhodes arguably should have won his first encounter with Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 39. It was night 2, main event of night 2, the last match for WrestleMania, and Cody Rhodes fought his ass off. He had an incredible showing with Roman Reigns. They put on such a spectacular match. And in the end, Cody ended up distracted thanks to the bloodline. Roman Reigns hit his finisher, 1, 2, 3, and before you know it, Cody Rhodes is lying there selling, and then eventually there's a rubber chicken next to his head. Not the way that this story should end. That's the worst way the story should end. A rubber chicken? Come on, we're redoing it. It's the rematch. Not to mention, there's been reports that WWE's plan for this feud was to have a match, have Cody lose, and then set up a rematch for the next year's WrestleMania. So this has been in the works for as long as at least WrestleMania 39 or just prior to that. So there's another prediction for 2024 for this year. Cody Rhodes will not only face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, he will defeat him. He will finish the story. He will win the title that his father never held officially, the WWE Championship. And when Cody Rhodes hopefully wins that title, it will no longer be the undisputed title. It doesn't make sense. We have a World Heavyweight title on Raw with the undisputed title on SmackDown. How can you be undisputed when there's another world champion? It makes no sense. And eventually it will go back to being just the WWE Championship. I know it's combined with the Universal title. It doesn't make sense to continue the lineage of the Universal Championship. It's not that long. It was only, in the grand scheme of things, it was only introduced not that long ago. I believe it was 2016 when they unveiled the Universal title for the first time. And if you want to add on some other predictions to this, these are less certain to take place, but I think Cody Rhodes will get his opportunity by winning the Elimination Chamber match. He will become the #1 contender. He will use that to challenge Roman Reigns at WrestleMania in the main event of night 2 of WrestleMania 40. And I think for another prediction, he brings back, after winning the title from Roman, he brings back the WWE Championship, and maybe even on top of that, brings back his favorite title design, the Winged Eagle. Wouldn't that be a sight to see? Moving on, we have another prediction for 2024. This year, we should see some more development when it comes to the story that involves the bloodline. Roman Reigns has been reigning as tribal chief for a while, and we've had thoughts as to who could be replacing him. It's been teased and talked about within the bloodline that Solo Sikoa is the next person to succeed Roman Reigns as tribal chief. He's being groomed to be the next head of the table, if you will. Now, there has been rumblings that The Rock could be returning to WWE for one more match, another big time showdown. But this time around, it would be against Roman Reigns for the moniker, the title of tribal chief of the bloodline, to lead the bloodline. This is a match that has been proposed for WrestleMania, not within WWE, but simply by fan speculation. Many have been talking about this being a possibility. It seems to be unlikely. The Rock is recording 4 movies, I believe, just this year. He's a very busy man, as is, but in Hollywood alone, he's got 4 movies to get done. It's going to be hard to do that if he breaks a leg or an arm or anything whilst in the wrestling ring against Roman Reigns at something like WrestleMania, where the pressure would be on, the lights would be bright, and they would probably go for at least 15 minutes at a minimum, if not something like 20 for the match. And there would be a lot of big spots more than likely in that bout. The risk for injury is very great, and if you look at The Rock, he's big and jacked up. I don't think we'll be seeing The Rock versus Roman Reigns. It's entirely up to The Rock. If his schedule has room to fit in a WrestleMania showcase against Roman Reigns, or even a match at SummerSlam down the line just for the tribal chief, it doesn't have to be for the title. Let's say Cody Rhodes beats Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. You could do, hypothetically, Roman Reigns versus The Rock for the spot at the head of the table of the bloodline. But that all remains to be seen. Going off the presumption that that match is very unlikely, since The Rock is doing all his Hollywood commitments for movies, working with the XFL that just merged with another league. He's got his own tequila, I think. He's doing a lot of stuff. He might not have time for WWE. If that is the case, which is very likely, the next option they have, which fits the storyline and the narrative they've been pushing on WWE programming, is to then set up Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa for the head of the table, for the title of tribal chief. You could have Roman Reigns lose the belts at WrestleMania 40. Continue to tease tension between Roman and Solo and Jimmy. And you have Paul Heyman in there. Keep playing to that. And if Roman Reigns ends up losing, what's going to happen to Roman? He's going to take a hit in his confidence. He's going to be even angrier. He's going to have a short fuse, a short temper. He could have these outbursts with the likes of Jimmy starting out, with the likes of Paul Heyman, the wise man, as well. But then he'll try to push the buttons of Solo Sikoa. He'll go off on Solo one too many times, or maybe just once will be enough. He accidentally shoves him. Maybe he hits him. Maybe he slaps him. Whatever have you. Solo won't take that lying down. Solo will strike back, and he will question the authority of Roman Reigns. Why does Roman get to lead us? He's no longer the champion. He had his chance to lead the bloodline, and he did that, and he did a good job for the reign that he had. Over 1,000 days as world champion. But I'm younger, I'm hungrier, and your time is up. We will settle this at SummerSlam. Whoever wins is the new tribal chief. We will do this in a match of tribal warfare. And then we can see where Jimmy Uso's allegiance lies. Will it be with his brother, Solo, or will it be with Roman? Where does Paul Heyman fit into all this? Will he go along with Solo being the leader? Will Roman be completely ousted, or will he have to take command from Solo? Or does Solo end up losing to Roman? Is this a stepping stone for Roman to maybe build himself back up to once again being a world title contender, getting into a trilogy match with Cody Rhodes? Because at that point, they will be 1-1. Personally, it doesn't seem like Solo is ready to take on that spotlight, and it's uncertain if he ever will be. It's not to say that this match shouldn't happen, but the question lies in not only when do you pull the trigger on this, but who is going to ultimately win? Should it be Solo Sikoa? My prediction for 2024, nonetheless, is that Solo Sikoa will challenge Roman Reigns and try to take his spot as the tribal chief of the bloodline. Will he win? That's something I am uncertain of. But what do you think? Does Solo Sikoa take on and defeat Roman Reigns to become the tribal chief of the bloodline, or does he fall short and once again fall in line, maybe even become a babyface and leave the faction? Who knows? What do you think of these 2024 WWE predictions, and what are your predictions for this year in WWE? Be sure to let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear from you. That's all I've got. I will see y'all later.